Listen closely. The world is not ruled by the strongest men, nor the loudest, nor the most righteous. It is ruled by the calm, by those who can feel the fire rise in their chest and still choose silence, by those who can taste anger, fear, desire, and refuse to let any of it touch their decisions. This is where power begins, not in dominance over others, but in domination over yourself. Machiavelli understood this long before modern men forgot it. He knew emotions are liabilities when worn openly. The moment your face reacts, your opponent writes your future. Every flinch is information. Every outburst is a confession. If they can read you, they can lead you. If they can provoke you, they already own you. You are not here to be owned. You are here to become untouchable. Control your emotions, because emotion is the leash the world uses to drag men into traps. Insults bait you. Praise weakens you. Pleasure dulls you. Rage blinds you. And while you react, someone else calculates. While you vent, someone else advances. While you explain yourself, someone else replaces you. This channel, Sigrhythm, is not about comfort. It is about clarity, cold clarity, the kind that strips illusions and leaves only leverage. From this moment forward, you do not react. You observe. You do not explode. You store. You do not chase. You position. If this resonates, comment, "I move in silence" below. Write it like a contract with yourself, because the man who controls his emotions has already begun controlling his fate. Number 1. Emotional control is strategic superiority. Understand this now, and understand it without illusion. Emotion is not weakness because it exists. Emotion is weakness because it leaks. Every man feels. Only the undisciplined advertise it. The disciplined weaponize it. The world is constantly testing you, not to see if you are moral or kind, but to see if you are predictable. People provoke you casually, they disrespect you subtly, they praise you selectively, and all the while, they are watching your reactions like data points. Most men fail this test without ever realizing they were being examined. They react too fast, they explain themselves too much, they defend their ego as if it were their identity. But the moment you defend, you reveal insecurity. The moment you react, you surrender control. Machiavelli understood that power is not about what you feel, but about what you reveal. A man who wears his emotions openly becomes transparent, and transparency is fatal in competitive environments. When you show anger, you show where to strike. When you show fear, you expose the fracture line. When you show desire, you give leverage to anyone willing to withhold. Emotion, when unmanaged, becomes a map others can use against you. Silence, however, gives nothing. Calm gives nothing. Stillness gives nothing, and what gives nothing cannot be exploited. This is not about becoming numb or dead inside. That is weakness disguised as toughness. This is about emotional sovereignty. You still feel everything, but you do not let feeling command action. Your anger becomes information, not an order. Your fear becomes awareness, not retreat. Your desire becomes a signal, not a chain. You observe your inner state the way a general observes the battlefield. Calmly, objectively, without panic. Then you decide. In power psychology, the man who controls the emotional tempo controls the interaction. If they rush you, you slow down. If they provoke you, you detach. If they pressure you, you remain composed. This imbalance is unsettling to most people. Humans are wired to mirror emotional energy. When you refuse to mirror, you dominate silently. People feel it instinctively. They may not understand why, but they sense that you are not playing the same game. That alone shifts the hierarchy. Urgency is weakness. It signals need. It signals lack of options. Calm is authority. Calm suggests preparation. Calm suggests abundance. The man who rushes is being chased by his impulses. The man who waits is setting traps. This is why dangerous men speak less. This is why kings were brief. Noise is compensation. Stillness is confidence refined. On Sigrhythm, we don't sell comfort. We strip illusions. And the truth is this: the world does not care how you feel. It only responds to how you move. If your emotions dictate your moves, then your life is being steered by whoever can trigger you. That means your enemies don't need strength, strategy, or intelligence. They only need access to your emotional buttons. Cut that access, lock the door, become emotionally armored. Let insults meet silence. Let praise meet neutrality. Let chaos meet composure. When people cannot shake you, they either stop trying or expose themselves, trying harder. Either outcome benefits you. You gain information while giving none. This is cold power. This is masculine stoicism grounded in reality, not quotes. And if this is resonating, comment "Emotion obeys me" below. Not for me, for you. Anchor it. This is how untouchable men are built. Quietly, deliberately, permanently. Number 2. He who controls reaction controls reality. Accept this truth without resistance. Most of what happens in your life is not decided by events, but by how you react to them. Two men can face the same insult, the same loss, the same betrayal, and one becomes weak while the other becomes lethal. The difference is not intelligence, it is not luck, it is reaction. Reaction is where power is either surrendered or seized. When you react emotionally, you are no longer acting, you are being acted upon. You are no longer choosing, you are complying. Every uncontrolled reaction is a silent admission that something outside of you has authority over your inner world. And the man who gives authority away cannot lead his life, let alone others. Machiavelli warned that men destroy themselves by mistaking impulse for courage. Rage feels strong, but it is predictable. Defensiveness feels righteous, but it is transparent. Explaining yourself feels fair, but it is submissive. The powerful do not rush to be understood. They let others misunderstand them while they move pieces behind the curtain. The moment you feel the urge to react, pause. That urge is not you. It is conditioning. Society trains men to emote publicly, to vent, to express, to let it out. This is not liberation. This is exposure. A man who exposes his emotional patterns hands the world a manual on how to control him. Dark psychology teaches a simple but brutal principle. Whoever sets the emotional frame controls the interaction. If someone can pull you into their emotional state, anger, fear, excitement, insecurity, they have already won. You are now playing inside their tempo. Their chaos becomes your environment. Their urgency becomes your pressure. This is why emotional mastery is not optional for men who want power. It is foundational. When you remain composed while others escalate, you invert the dynamic. Their intensity begins to work against them. Their words lose precision. Their behavior becomes sloppy. And while they are busy expressing, you are observing. Observation is power. The calm man sees everything. He sees who loses composure first. He sees who needs validation. He sees who panics when ignored. Most men miss these signals because they are too busy defending their ego. Ego is the loudest weakness a man can have. It demands immediate response. It demands recognition. It demands that you win every exchange. But real power does not win arguments. It wins positioning. It lets others talk themselves into revealing motives, insecurities, and intentions. Silence is not absence. Silence is pressure. It forces others to fill the void, and in doing so, they expose themselves. This is why controlled men are often misunderstood. People mistake calm for indifference, restraint for weakness, silence for submission. Let them. Misinterpretation is camouflage. Machiavelli believed it was safer to be feared than loved, but even safer to be unreadable. When people cannot place you, they cannot predict you. When they cannot predict you, they hesitate. And hesitation is an opening. You do not need to announce your strength. You let others discover it too late. Control your reactions, and you control your narrative. Insults no longer define you. Losses no longer derail you. Delays no longer frustrate you. You become internally stable in a world designed to provoke instability. That stability becomes magnetic. People feel it before they understand it. They sense that you are not governed by the same emotional laws. This creates asymmetry. And asymmetry is dominance. Understand this clearly. The goal is not to suppress emotion until it explodes later. That is weakness disguised as discipline. The goal is integration. You feel anger, but you do not obey it. You feel fear, but you do not kneel to it. You feel desire, but you do not chase blindly. You acknowledge emotion, extract information from it, then decide coldly. Decision must always outrank emotion. Always. The moment emotion outranks decision, your life becomes reactive instead of strategic. On Psygrythm, we train the mind to operate above impulse, above noise, above provocation. This is not self-help. This is self-command. The modern world wants men emotionally exposed because exposed men are easier to influence, easier to sell to, easier to control. A man who reacts instantly is a man who can be guided without resistance. You are here because you sense that trap. You feel the cost of reacting, lost opportunities, damaged reputation, unnecessary enemies, wasted energy. Reaction is expensive. Control is efficient. If this is landing, comment, "I decide, not react" below. Don't rush past it. Write it deliberately. Repetition builds identity. The highest form of control is delayed response. You do not rush to reply. You do not rush to confront. You do not rush to explain. Time is leverage. When you delay, you gather information. When you delay, you lower emotional temperature. When you delay, you force others to reveal intent. Impulsive men move first. Strategic men let the board reveal itself. This is why patience has always been mistaken for passivity by the untrained. In reality, patience is stored aggression. It is power waiting for precision. Most conflicts are won by the man who needs the least to happen. The one who can walk away without loss of identity. The one who does not need the last word. Needing closure is weakness. Needing validation is weakness. Needing to be right is weakness. The controlled man needs none of it. His sense of self is not up for negotiation, and because of that, he negotiates from a position of strength. Remember this: every time you don't react, you break a pattern. Every time you don't explode, you confuse expectations. Every time you choose silence over impulse, you step into a higher position. This compounds slowly, quietly, permanently, until one day you realize people approach you differently. They speak more carefully. They test you less. They respect a boundary you never verbally set. If you're still here, comment "unprovocable" below. Seal it. Number 3. Emotional detachment is invisible authority. Here is the truth most men are never taught. Emotional detachment is not coldness. It is authority without announcement. When you are emotionally detached, you are no longer begging reality to cooperate with you. You are no longer negotiating with circumstances. You are no longer pleading internally for things to go your way. You simply observe, decide, and move. This is the posture of men who cannot be shaken because nothing outside of them has permission to rule inside of them. Emotional attachment makes you loud internally. Detachment makes you silent, and silence amplifies power. Most men confuse detachment with apathy. That misunderstanding keeps them weak. Apathy is numbness. Detachment is clarity. A detached man still wants, still plans, still pursues, but he does not cling. He does not hinge his identity on outcomes, and that single difference changes everything. When you are attached, you are reactive. When you are detached, you are strategic. Attachment creates desperation. Detachment creates options, and the man with options never needs to force anything. Machiavelli observed that men lose power the moment they need others to behave a certain way. The need itself becomes leverage against you. If you need respect, disrespect will break you. If you need loyalty, betrayal will cripple you. If you need approval, silence will haunt you. Emotional detachment removes that leverage. When nothing external is required for your internal stability, no one can threaten you emotionally. And a man who cannot be threatened cannot be controlled. Watch how people behave when they sense you are detached. They test you, they provoke, they attempt to pull emotion out of you like confirmation that they still have access. When they fail, discomfort sets in. Humans are wired to seek emotional feedback. When you deny it, you create psychological pressure. Silence becomes heavier than words. Calm becomes louder than aggression. This is not manipulation. It is mastery. You are not doing anything to them. You are simply not giving them what they expect. And expectation is the backbone of influence. Detachment sharpens perception. When you are emotionally invested, your mind lies to protect the feeling. You justify red flags. You ignore warning signs. You misread intentions because you want a specific outcome. Detachment removes bias. You see people as they are, not as you hope they will be. You hear what is said and what is avoided. You notice patterns. You notice inconsistencies. Emotionally attached men miss this because they are too busy managing how they feel. Detached men see the board clearly because nothing is fogging their vision. This is why emotional detachment is feared. Not openly, but instinctively. People may not articulate it, but they sense it. They sense that you are not easily influenced. That flattery doesn't work. That pressure doesn't work. That guilt doesn't work. And when traditional tools fail, weaker minds grow uneasy. They call you distant, cold, arrogant. Let them. Labels are weapons used by those who lack leverage. A man who knows his center does not rush to correct misunderstandings. Power psychology teaches that emotional distance creates hierarchy. The one who cares less about the emotional outcome holds the advantage. This is true in negotiations, relationships, conflicts, and leadership. The man who can walk away calmly sets the terms. The man who needs resolution immediately is negotiating from weakness. Emotional detachment gives you the ability to pause without anxiety, to delay without fear, to disengage without loss of identity. That is authority. This does not mean you become cruel or reckless. Detachment is not hostility, it is selectivity. You choose where emotion is invested and where it is withheld. You are not emotionally available to chaos, disrespect, or manipulation. You reserve emotional depth for places that deserve it. This restraint makes your presence heavier. When you do speak, it carries weight. When you do act, it is intentional. Scarcity applies not just to resources, but to emotional access. On Sigrhythm, we train this kind of discipline because the modern world is engineered to keep men emotionally overstimulated. Notifications, outrage, validation cycles, manufactured urgency, all designed to provoke reaction. A reactive man is predictable. A predictable man is controllable. Emotional detachment breaks this system. You no longer live on the world's emotional schedule. You move on your own internal clock, and anyone who cannot rush you cannot rule you. Detachment also protects your energy. Emotional reactions drain cognitive resources. Anger consumes focus. Anxiety fractures attention. Obsession narrows vision. When you detach, energy returns to you. That energy becomes clarity. Clarity becomes precision. Precision becomes dominance. You are no longer scattered. You are consolidated. And consolidated force is dangerous force. If you feel this principle clicking into place, comment detached, not distant below. Let it reinforce the distinction in your mind. The most powerful aspect of detachment is this: it makes you outcome independent. You commit fully to your actions, but you do not emotionally collapse if outcomes change. You adapt instantly. Loss becomes data. Failure becomes feedback. Rejection becomes redirection. Nothing touches your core. This is why emotionally detached men recover faster, pivot faster, and rise faster. They do not mourn outcomes, they analyze them. People often mistake emotional expression for authenticity. In reality, control is authenticity refined. You are not hiding who you are choosing when to reveal it. That choice alone separates leaders from followers. Leaders regulate emotion to stabilize the environment. Followers dump emotion into the environment and let it destabilize them. Emotional detachment places you automatically in the stabilizing role. Others unconsciously orient around you because you are not oscillating. Understand this deeply. Emotional detachment is not something you perform. It is something you cultivate internally until it becomes default. You stop asking, "How do I feel about this?" and start asking, "What does this require?" You stop seeking emotional relief and start seeking strategic advantage. You stop personalizing events and start contextualizing them. Nothing is about you. Everything is about dynamics, incentives, and positioning. When you live like this long enough, something shifts. People stop trying to manipulate you emotionally. They sense it won't work. They approach you with more respect, or they avoid you entirely. Both outcomes serve you. You become difficult to engage with unless the engagement is clean. And clean interactions are the foundation of power. If this resonates, comment "emotionally sovereign" below. Anchor the identity. Detachment does not make life smaller, it makes it sharper. You laugh when it's genuine. You engage when it's purposeful. You withdraw when it's necessary. Nothing is compulsive. Nothing is unconscious. You are no longer dragged by emotion. You move emotion where it serves you. This is invisible authority. No threats, no displays, no force, just control. Number 4. Control the inner dialogue. Control the outcome. The most dangerous enemy you will ever face is not outside of you. It is the voice inside your head that speaks without permission. The inner dialogue that rushes to judgment, inflames emotion, exaggerates threats, and weakens resolve. Most men are not defeated by circumstances. They are defeated by the conversations they allow to run unchecked in their own mind. Whoever controls that voice controls the man. And if you don't control it, something else already does. Understand this clearly. Thoughts are the spark, emotions are the fire, and actions are the explosion. If you want control at the level of action, you must dominate the level of thought. Machiavelli knew that men who cannot govern themselves are easily governed by others. The inner dialogue is where governance either happens or collapses. When your mind narrates failure, insult, or fear, your body obeys. Your posture changes, your tone shifts, your decisions shrink, and the world responds accordingly. Most men speak to themselves with weakness disguised as realism. They rehearse doubt, they argue for their limitations, they justify hesitation, they mentally relive disrespect, and then wonder why their confidence erodes. This is not humility, this is self-sabotage. A man who tolerates a disordered inner dialogue lives reactively, even if he appears composed on the outside. Control begins when you stop allowing every thought to finish its sentence. Cold power psychology demands this discipline. You do not believe every thought you think. You interrogate it. You challenge it. You decide whether it serves your position or undermines it. Emotion-driven thoughts are often urgent, dramatic, and absolute. Strategic thoughts are calm, conditional, and precise. One weak sentence repeated internally can undo years of external discipline. This is why mastery of the inner dialogue is non-negotiable. When provoked, the mind rushes to interpretation. They disrespected me. I'm losing ground. I need to respond now. This narration is not truth. It is impulse dressed as certainty. The controlled man interrupts this process. He inserts silence between stimulus and story. In that silence, power returns. Without a story, emotion has nowhere to anchor. Without emotion, reaction dies. And without reaction, you regain the ability to choose. This is why stillness inside precedes dominance outside. A man with a calm inner world moves differently. He does not rush to defend. He does not inflate threats. He does not catastrophize outcomes. He calculates. He waits. He lets situations reveal themselves. While others argue internally, he prepares externally. That asymmetry compounds. The inner dialogue is also where fear disguises itself as logic. Fear will tell you to play small, to avoid confrontation, to delay indefinitely. It will frame retreat as wisdom and hesitation as patience. Do not misunderstand this. Patience is chosen delay. Fear is avoidance pretending to be strategy. The disciplined man learns to tell the difference by listening to the tone of the inner voice. Fear is loud and repetitive. Strategy is quiet and decisive. Masculine stoicism is not silence of thought, it is order of thought. You are not trying to eliminate internal speech, you are commanding it. You decide what language is allowed. You do not insult yourself. You do not dramatize setbacks. You do not rehearse weakness. You speak to yourself as a commander speaks to a unit. Clear, firm, unemotional. Over time, this creates internal trust. And a man who trusts himself does not seek reassurance from the world. Notice how easily men are manipulated by words, news headlines, social pressure, insults, praise. All of it works only because it enters an undisciplined inner dialogue. Once inside, it multiplies. The world plants a seed, and the man grows it himself. This is why emotional control alone is insufficient. If the inner narrative remains chaotic, emotion will eventually break through. Control must be cognitive before it is behavioral. On Sigritham, we train men to cut mental noise at the root, not by positive thinking, but by precise thinking. Optimism is optional. Clarity is mandatory. You do not need to believe everything will work out. You need to believe you will handle whatever happens. That belief comes from repeated proof created by disciplined inner dialogue, followed by decisive action. Here is a rule that separates controlled men from reactive ones. Never argue with yourself in moments of pressure. Debate creates delay. Delay creates doubt. Doubt creates weakness. In pressure, you simplify. One directive, one decision. Execute. Reflection comes later when emotion has cooled and information is complete. This alone will elevate your presence. People sense decisiveness even before outcomes appear. If this is resonating, comment, "My mind answers to me," below. Write it slowly. Anchor it. Another truth few accept. The inner dialogue shapes your tolerance. What you repeatedly tell yourself becomes what you tolerate from others. If your internal voice excuses disrespect, you will accept it externally. If your internal voice rationalizes mediocrity, you will live in it. Raise the standard of your inner speech and your external boundaries rise automatically. You won't need to announce them, they'll be felt. Control of the inner dialogue also dissolves unnecessary suffering. Most pain is not caused by events, but by interpretation. The event happens once. The mind replays it endlessly. The disciplined man lets events end when they end. He extracts lessons, then releases. Rumination is emotional attachment wearing a disguise. It keeps you tied to outcomes that no longer exist. Power demands release. This does not mean suppression. Suppression buries emotion where it festers. Control processes it quickly and cleanly. You acknowledge what happened. You decide what it means. You choose the next move. Then you move on. No drama. No identity collapse. No internal monologue demanding justice from the universe. The universe does not negotiate. Men adapt. Understand this. Whoever controls your inner dialogue controls your time. Wasted mental loops drain focus, energy, and presence. The controlled man guards his attention ruthlessly. He does not allow unnecessary thoughts to rent space in his head. Attention is capital. Spend it deliberately. If you are still with me, comment, "Silence the noise," below. Seal the practice. When you master the inner dialogue, something changes fundamentally. You stop feeling rushed. You stop feeling chased. You stop feeling behind. Time expands because mental clutter collapses. Decisions feel lighter because they are no longer weighed down by emotional argument. You become internally aligned, and alignment is force. This is how men become steady under pressure. This is how they remain calm in chaos. This is how they move through provocation untouched, not by brute willpower, but by internal order. Control the inner dialogue and the outer world loses its grip. Number 5. Master patience, master power. Patience is not waiting. Waiting is passive. Patience is restraint with intent. It is the ability to hold power without leaking it through impulse. Most men mistake speed for strength and urgency for importance. They rush to respond, rush to confront, rush to decide, rush to prove. And in that rush, they expose themselves. Power does not rush. Power observes. Power delays. Power lets others exhaust themselves while it remains intact. Machiavelli understood that timing is more lethal than force. A premature move reveals desperation. A delayed move creates uncertainty. And uncertainty destabilizes opponents more effectively than aggression ever could. The man who can wait while others demand action controls the frame. He dictates tempo. He forces others to reveal their priorities, their fears, their limits. While they push, he watches. While they speak, he listens. While they burn energy, he stores it. Impatience is emotional leakage. It tells the world you need resolution now, that you cannot tolerate ambiguity, that silence makes you uncomfortable, and anything that makes you uncomfortable can be used against you. People learn quickly how to rush you, pressure you, provoke you into premature decisions. The patient man denies them this leverage. He does not move because he is pressured. He moves because the moment is correct. Understand this. Patience is dominance over impulse. Impulse demands immediate relief. Patience tolerates tension. And the man who can tolerate tension longer than others always wins. Negotiations are not won by arguments. They are won by endurance. Conflicts are not resolved by volume. They are resolved by who breaks composure first. Life itself rewards the man who can delay gratification without losing direction. Masculine stoicism is built on this principle. You do not chase emotional relief. You do not chase validation. You do not chase outcomes prematurely. You let things mature. You let people reveal themselves. You let situations clarify. Most mistakes are not caused by bad intent, but by bad timing. Acting too early feels productive, but it often creates damage that patience would have avoided. Patience sharpens perception. When you are not rushing, you see more. You notice subtle shifts in tone, behavior, and alignment. You recognize when someone is bluffing, when they are uncertain, when they are overreaching. Impatient men miss this because they are already committed emotionally. They are invested in being right instead of being effective. The patient man stays fluid. He keeps options open. He never locks himself into a single path prematurely. Dark psychology teaches that people reveal more when they feel unopposed. Silence creates space. Space invites projection. The patient man allows others to talk themselves into exposure. He does not interrupt. He does not correct. He lets inconsistencies surface naturally. By the time he speaks, the situation has already tilted in his favor. His words land heavier because they arrive late and precise. This is why patience feels uncomfortable to undisciplined minds. It removes the illusion of control that comes from constant action. But real control is not constant movement. It is selective movement. The predator does not chase every sound. He waits for the right moment. The king does not respond to every provocation. He chooses which ones deserve attention. Attention itself is power, and where you place it reveals your level. On Psygrythm, we train patience not as passivity, but as strategic restraint. You are not idle. You are calibrating. You are letting probability work for you. You are allowing others to make mistakes while you preserve optionality. This mindset alone separates leaders from followers. Followers need direction now. Leaders are comfortable waiting because they trust their position. If this is resonating, comment, "I move on my time" below. Let it anchor the principle. Patience also protects you from self-sabotage. Many men destroy opportunities because they demand certainty too early. They push for answers, definitions, guarantees. This pressure collapses potential. The patient man allows ambiguity to exist without anxiety. He understands that clarity often arrives with time, not force. By not demanding immediate closure, he allows outcomes to develop organically, and often more favorably. Consider how impatience distorts decision-making. Under pressure, the mind narrows, options disappear. You choose between false binaries because you feel rushed. Patience widens the field. It allows alternatives to surface. It gives you room to maneuver. The longer you can stay calm without acting, the more leverage you accumulate. Time becomes your ally instead of your enemy. There is also a psychological effect others feel when they cannot rush you. They grow uneasy. They expect reaction. When it doesn't come, they fill the silence with assumptions. Often, they assume you have information they lack or confidence they don't. This perception alone shifts power. You do not need to announce strength. You let others infer it. Patience is especially critical under provocation. Insults are designed to trigger immediate response. Pressure tactics rely on urgency. When you refuse to react, you break the script. The provocateur loses control of the interaction. Their aggression begins to look unbalanced. Their credibility erodes, and you remain centered. This is not avoidance, it is discipline. If you've ever noticed how dangerous men seem unhurried, this is why. They are not driven by emotional clocks. They operate on strategic timelines. They know that most people defeat themselves if given enough rope. Patience gives them that rope. Comment, calm beats urgency. If this is clicking, reinforce it. Patience also compounds internally. When you repeatedly delay reaction and survive the tension, your confidence deepens. You prove to yourself that you do not need immediate relief to function. This builds emotional resilience. Over time, fewer things provoke you. Fewer things feel urgent. Your baseline calm rises, and with it, your authority. Do not confuse patience with hesitation. Hesitation is fear disguised as delay. Patience is conscious restraint paired with readiness. The patient man is prepared to act instantly when the moment arrives. He is not slow, he is precise. When he moves, it is decisive because the groundwork has already been laid. This is the paradox. Patience accelerates long-term outcomes. While others burn energy reacting, you conserve it. While others rush and correct mistakes later, you move once and move cleanly. Over time, this creates momentum that looks effortless from the outside. People call it luck. It is not luck. It is restraint applied consistently. Remember this rule. The man who can wait controls the exchange. Whether in conversation, negotiation, conflict, or ambition, patience tilts power quietly. You do not need to dominate openly. You let time do the work. If you're still here, comment, unrushed, unbreakable, below. Seal it. Number 6. Emotional discipline creates fear without threats. Here is a truth that unsettles most men. You do not need aggression to intimidate, volume to dominate, or threats to command respect. Fear is not created by force. It is created by uncertainty. And nothing creates uncertainty more effectively than emotional discipline. When people cannot read you, cannot provoke you, cannot predict how you will respond, they become cautious. Caution is the first sign of fear. Most men try to look powerful. Powerful men do not try. They remove emotional tells. They remove excess movement. They remove unnecessary words. What remains is a presence that feels controlled, contained, and deliberate. Humans are wired to fear what they cannot anticipate. Emotional discipline turns you into that unknown variable. Think about it. Loud men announce their intentions. Emotional men reveal their limits. Reactive men show where they can be pushed. But the disciplined man gives nothing away. His face does not change. His tone does not spike. His posture does not collapse. When tension rises, he does not mirror it. He absorbs it. That absorption creates psychological pressure in others. They expect escalation. When it doesn't come, their mind fills the gap with assumptions, usually dangerous ones. Machiavelli understood that perceived unpredictability was a strategic advantage, not chaos, but controlled ambiguity. When people know exactly how you will react, they manage you. When they don't, they hesitate. And hesitation disrupts plans. It slows momentum. It forces recalculation. Emotional discipline keeps you out of reach of manipulation because manipulation relies on predictable emotional responses. Fear without threats is the cleanest form of power. Threats invite resistance. Discipline invites caution. When people sense that you are not emotionally invested in dominating them, yet clearly capable of control, they lower their guard in the wrong way. They test less, they speak more carefully, they choose their words. That shift is subtle, but it is everything. This is why emotionally disciplined men are often described as intense, even when they are calm. Intensity is not volume. It is containment. It is knowing something is there and not being able to access it. A sheathed blade is more unsettling than a swinging one. Discipline keeps the blade sheathed, but visible. Dark psychology confirms this. Emotional neutrality disrupts social scripts. Most interactions run on emotional exchange, reaction, validation, mirroring. When you step outside that loop, you control the frame. Others unconsciously adjust to you. They seek your approval. They look for cues. They wait. You become the reference point without ever declaring yourself one. This is not arrogance. Arrogance leaks insecurity. Emotional discipline is quiet confidence backed by self-command. You do not need to assert dominance because your behavior already suggests it. The man who is hardest to move emotionally is assumed to be hardest to move in general. That assumption alone creates distance. Distance creates respect. Respect creates leverage. If you feel this principle landing, comment "unreadable by design" below. Let it settle into your identity. Emotional discipline also protects you from unnecessary conflict. Most conflicts escalate because someone needs to prove something emotionally. Pride flares. Ego demands recognition. Words are exchanged that cannot be taken back. The disciplined man sidesteps this trap, not by submission, but by refusing to participate in emotional theater. He does not take bait. He does not argue feelings. He does not correct every misinterpretation. He lets outcomes speak. This restraint often frustrates aggressive personalities. They expect resistance. When it doesn't appear, they either overextend or disengage. Both outcomes favor you. Overextension exposes weakness. Disengagement removes noise. Emotional discipline turns other people's instability into your advantage. There is also a deeper layer. Emotional discipline builds internal authority. When you repeatedly choose control over reaction, your mind begins to trust you. That trust compounds. You stop second-guessing. You stop over-explaining to yourself. You stop mentally rehearsing conflicts. This internal alignment makes your presence heavier. People sense when a man is settled within himself. It changes how they approach him. Masculine stoicism is not about suppressing fear. It is about not broadcasting it. Fear exists in all men. The difference is who lets it speak. When fear speaks through behavior, posture, or tone, it invites challenge. When fear is contained, it sharpens awareness without weakening presence. The disciplined man feels fear and still appears steady. That steadiness is unsettling to others. Fear without threats also works because it feels earned, not forced. Anyone can shout. Anyone can intimidate physically. But emotional discipline suggests depth, experience, control, capability. People assume you have options. They assume you have leverage. They assume you have nothing to prove. These assumptions work in your favor, even if nothing is said. On Psychrythm, we emphasize this because the modern world teaches men the opposite. Express, vent, react, be transparent. Transparency without strategy is vulnerability. Emotional discipline reclaims opacity. You do not owe the world access to your internal state. Privacy is power. Emotional privacy is protection. If you've ever noticed how certain men walk into a room and conversations shift, this is why. They are not loud. They are not aggressive. They are not performative. They are contained. That containment creates a subtle gravitational pull. Others adjust their behavior unconsciously. This is dominance without display. Comment, "Calm is my weapon," if this resonates. Anchor it. Emotional discipline also makes you immune to humiliation tactics. Insults only work if they land emotionally. Public pressure only works if you fear perception. The disciplined man understands that reputation is shaped by consistency, not moments. He does not scramble to defend himself. He allows time and behavior to correct narratives. This patience makes humiliation attempts fall flat. This does not mean you never respond. It means you respond selectively. When you do speak, it is measured. When you do act, it is decisive. People remember decisive moments more than constant noise. Emotional discipline allows you to choose those moments with precision. There is a reason predators in nature are still before they strike. Movement reveals intent. Stillness conceals it. Emotional stillness does the same. It hides your thresholds, your limits, your plans. No one knows how far you will go or when. That uncertainty is not cruelty, it is control. As this becomes habitual, something changes socially. People stop challenging you casually. They sense resistance without friction. They sense consequences without threats. You have not become feared because you are aggressive. You are feared because you are stable. Stability suggests strength that does not need to announce itself. 08. Control emotion, control decision, control destiny. Every life is shaped by decisions, but every decision is shaped by emotion. This is the chain most men never see. They believe they are logical, rational, in control. Yet their choices are quietly steered by anger they didn't question, fear they didn't confront, desire they didn't restrain. The man who controls emotion controls decision. And the man who controls decision controls the direction of his life. This is not philosophy. This is mechanics. Machiavelli understood that fate favors the prepared mind, not the emotional one. Fortune, he wrote, is like a river. It floods and destroys those who do not build defenses in advance. Emotional control is that defense. Without it, every unexpected event becomes a crisis. With it, every event becomes material. The emotionally disciplined man does not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" He asks, "How does this change my positioning?" Most men make their worst decisions in emotional peaks. Anger pushes them to burn bridges that could have been leveraged. Fear pushes them to retreat when pressure should have been applied. Excitement pushes them to overcommit before information is complete. These decisions feel right in the moment and expensive later. The cost is paid in reputation, momentum, and regret. Emotional control is not about avoiding feeling. It is about postponing decision until clarity arrives. This is where cold power psychology separates men. The controlled man feels the emotional surge and still waits. He lets the internal storm pass before he moves. He understands that emotion distorts perception. It narrows options. It amplifies urgency. Waiting restores proportion. When proportion returns, better decisions appear. This single habit, delay under emotion, will save you from mistakes most men never recover from. Notice how often society encourages emotional decision-making. Trust your feelings. Follow your heart. Go with your gut. These phrases sound empowering, but they are traps for undisciplined minds. Feelings are signals, not commands. The gut is useful only when trained. Otherwise, it is just stored impulse. The man who follows feeling blindly lives reactively. The man who evaluates feeling strategically lives deliberately. Masculine stoicism teaches this clearly. Emotion informs, reason decides. When you invert this order, your life becomes chaotic. You explain away bad choices as passion. You justify weakness as sensitivity. You call impulse authenticity. But the results never lie. Look at outcomes, not intentions. Emotional men explain. Controlled men build. Decision-making is the true battlefield of power. Every choice either compounds strength or compounds weakness. Emotional control ensures that your decisions are aligned with long-term position, not short-term relief. Relief is addictive. It feels like progress. But relief often steals leverage. The disciplined man is willing to be uncomfortable now to be unbreakable later. On SIG-rhythm, this principle is non-negotiable. We are not here to make you feel better. We are here to make you harder to derail. Emotional control turns life into a series of calculated moves instead of emotional reactions. You stop drifting, you start directing. If this is landing, comment, "I choose cold clarity," below. Anchor the shift. There is a deeper layer here. Emotional control does not just improve decisions, it changes identity. When you repeatedly choose restraint over reaction, your self-image upgrades. You begin to see yourself as someone who can be trusted under pressure. That trust becomes internal authority, and internal authority changes how you move in the world. You hesitate less because you know you won't sabotage yourself. You commit more fully because you are not afraid of emotional collapse. This is why emotionally controlled men rise faster, not because they are smarter, but because they make fewer irreversible mistakes. They don't send the message that ruins leverage. They don't explode in moments that damage reputation. They don't chase validation that weakens position. Over time, consistency beats brilliance. Emotional control creates consistency. Decision-making under pressure is where this matters most. Pressure reveals training. Anyone can be calm when nothing is at stake. The question is who you are when something is on the line. Status, money, respect, future. The emotionally disciplined man slows down under pressure. Others speed up. That difference alone creates separation. While others rush toward mistakes, he moves toward advantage. Understand this. Every emotional reaction is a vote for the life you don't want. Every restrained response is a vote for the life you're building. These votes compound quietly. One day you look around and realize your environment reflects your discipline. People treat you differently. Opportunities appear cleaner. Chaos approaches you less often. This is not luck. It is alignment. Emotional control also eliminates self-betrayal. Most regret comes from moments where you knew better and acted anyway. You felt the impulse and followed it despite the warning. Control closes that gap. You begin acting in line with your values, not your moods. This creates internal peace, not the soft kind, but the solid kind, the kind that comes from self-respect. 9. Become untouchable by mastering emotional scarcity. Understand this clearly. What is abundant is ignored, and what is scarce is respected. This law applies not only to money, attention, and time, but to emotion. Most men give their emotional reactions freely. They explain how they feel. They reveal what angers them. They display excitement, frustration, disappointment, hope, and by doing so, they make themselves common. Emotional availability without control turns you into an open book. And open books are rewritten by others. The untouchable man practices emotional scarcity. He does not give reactions on demand. He does not reward provocation with attention. He does not hand out access to his internal world to anyone who knocks. This is not cruelty. This is hierarchy. Scarcity establishes value. When your emotional responses are rare, measured, and intentional, people begin to treat them as significant. When they are constant, people treat them as noise. Machiavelli understood that men lose authority the moment they over-explain themselves. Explanation is emotional leakage disguised as clarity. It comes from the need to be understood, approved of, or justified. The powerful do not explain unless it serves strategy. They let ambiguity exist. They let others sit with uncertainty. Emotional scarcity creates that uncertainty, and uncertainty forces people to adjust around you. Most men fear being misunderstood, so they rush to clarify. Untouchable men allow misunderstanding to linger. Why? Because misunderstanding filters people. Those who matter will observe your consistency over time. Those who don't will reveal their impatience. Either way, emotional scarcity saves you energy and protects your position. Think about how easily people manipulate emotional men. They provoke anger to get reaction. They withhold approval to create insecurity. They apply pressure to force decisions. None of this works on a man who does not emotionally overinvest. When your emotions are scarce, manipulation starves. There is nothing to grab onto, no leverage, no hooks. This is where masculine stoicism becomes operational, not philosophical. You are not trying to feel less. You are choosing to express less. Expression is power only when controlled. A man who reacts to everything reacts to nothing strategically. Emotional scarcity forces others to read your actions instead of your words, and actions are much harder to manipulate. In dark psychology, scarcity creates asymmetry. The one who gives less emotionally holds the advantage. This is why the man who cares less about emotional validation often sets the tone. He is not desperate for agreement. He is not shaken by disapproval. He is not rushed by silence. That emotional independence is felt immediately. People sense when you are not chasing their response. That alone elevates your position. On Sigrhythm, this principle is essential. The modern world trains men to overshare, overreact, and overexpress. Everything is public, everything is instant, everything demands a response. Emotional scarcity is rebellion against this system. It is how you reclaim depth in a shallow environment. It is how you protect your inner life from constant intrusion. If this is clicking, comment, "My emotion is scarce," below. Anchor it. Emotional scarcity also sharpens your presence. When you do speak emotionally, it carries weight. When you do show approval, it matters. When you do show displeasure, it lands. This is because people are not used to it. You have trained them, consciously or not, that your emotional signals are rare and meaningful. This is authority without volume. Compare this to men who constantly express dissatisfaction or excitement. Their words lose power. Complaints blend together. Praise becomes cheap. Eventually, no one adjusts their behavior in response because nothing feels consequential. Emotional scarcity restores consequence. It makes your reactions events instead of background noise. There is also protection here. Emotional scarcity reduces regret. Many men regret not what they felt, but what they revealed. Words spoken in emotion cannot be retrieved. Reactions given freely cannot be taken back. Scarcity forces pause. Pause creates choice. Choice prevents self-sabotage. Untouchable men also understand that emotional scarcity preserves mystery. Mystery is not deception, it is privacy, and privacy is strength. You do not need to narrate your struggles. You do not need to announce your plans. You do not need to explain your restraint. Let outcomes speak. Let results explain you won. Mystery keeps people guessing, and guessing keeps them cautious. Number 9. Control yourself, and life loses its grip. Everything you've heard until now leads to this final truth. Life only controls men who have not learned to control themselves. Circumstances do not dominate you. People do not dominate you. Chaos does not dominate you. Your lack of internal command does. The moment you master yourself, your emotions, your reactions, your impulses, life's grip loosens. Problems become manageable. Pressure becomes familiar. Uncertainty becomes terrain instead of threat. This is the final transformation, from being affected to being decisive. Most men spend their lives negotiating with reality. They complain, they hope, they cope, they endure. Untouchable men do none of that. They adapt, position, and execute, not emotionally, strategically. They understand that life is not fair, not kind, and not obligated to explain itself. Accepting this removes resentment. Removing resentment restores clarity. Clarity restores power. Machiavelli never promised peace. He promised effectiveness. And effectiveness begins when you stop demanding comfort from a hostile world. Emotional control does not make life easier, it makes you stronger. That distinction matters. The world does not soften for disciplined men, it simply stops overwhelming them. Storms still come, but they no longer knock you off course. You brace, adjust, and continue. This is the quiet confidence of masculine stoicism. Not optimism, not hope, readiness. You stop asking whether you can handle what's coming because you already know the answer. You've trained for it every time you didn't react, every time you delayed impulse, every time you chose control over comfort. Those moments built an internal structure that does not collapse under pressure. Understand this. The goal was never to dominate others. That